Good evening, watching Caribbean Images. Election is September 12th. On our show today, we have Sandra Roper, candidate for Civil Court Judge. She will be talking to us. It's a pleasure to have her on our program.
Thank you. Sandra Elena Roper. I'm running as an independent Democrat, not part of the Democratic machine. And I'm looking forward to being chosen. I hope that the people will look at what I've done in the past. My website is roperforjudge2017.nyc. That's where I get confused.
Election is heating
yes,
up.
It is.
And I know that with this election, you're serious about this because last time you went for district attorney, you made a name for yourself. Tell us about this election now.
Well, the district attorney's election?
No, the civil court judge race.
Oh, well, it's 11 people are running for 5 civil court judgeships. And I'm running as an independent, as I state, with a slate of 4 other judges. John O'Hara, Isela Isaac, Patrick Hayes, and Thomas Kennedy. And we're a slate of 5 candidates. I'm hoping to be able to serve on the bench for the people of Brooklyn. The thing about civil court judge is that this is the only judgeship in the state of New York, for New York City, that the people actually vote for. Supreme Court is handled completely by the machine, the Brooklyn machine. I am the antithesis of the Brooklyn machine because I'm running with my slate as an independent. Okay, we went out on our own, got signatures. We filed 34,000 signatures.
That's a lot.
Yes, that's a lot. So we're hoping to be able to make an impact because when you look at me, this is the people's judge. Do you see? The people's judge, and that's what I would like to be. I've done many good things in the past. I've changed laws in the past. I've made precedents in the past. That's why I eventually was admitted to the Supreme Court of the United States in 2004 because I saw that there was a constitutional issue dealing with voter registration in New York State. So I made an appeal called an amicus brief in 2004 in order to be able to open up the definition of residency, because John O'Hara, he was who's running with me, he was indicted and found guilty by the district attorney, the former district attorney before Ken Thompson, Mr. Hines, for illegal voting. And that was absolutely a travesty. And so under those circumstances, I got up to the plate, as I've done in many, many circumstances, and tried to make a difference. The same thing happened with seniors. Seniors were being caused great harm because in 2002, 2003, I became a court attorney for Judge Peter Sweeney, one of 2 judges that ran with me as district attorney when I ran for the DA candidate. And I saw what was happening in the courts, that creditors were freezing bank accounts of seniors. And in 2002, 2003, it was like the heat of identity theft. And I said, Social Security income is exempt. Why should a senior whose identity has been stolen have to go through the trauma of having to go to court? Banks should know if they have funds that are coming directly from the Social Security Department. So I said, let me do something. So at the time, I was chairperson for 3 senior citizen centers. One Grant Square on Bedford Avenue, one on Stuyvesant Avenue, and one in Flatbush. And I started what's called the Decatur-Stuyvesant Senior Citizen Bank Restraint Bill. And that was to change what they call the presumption of proof for those creditors. So now if you have Social Security, a creditor can't come and just freeze your account and then your checks start bouncing all over the place. So exactly. So that law, that bill that I wrote, I was very pleasantly surprised to find out that a version of that was made into what's called the Exempt Income Improvement Act. And that was in 2009 that was passed. So I was very happy to have been the person who kind of pushed that through.
Good. And your slogan is justice, not politics.
Justice, not politics, and justice with compassion. Because I know I'm qualified. I know I have accomplished much in terms of the law. I could just rattle down. I'm a civil rights lawyer, 30 years, and I've been able to overturn or stop discrimination in race discrimination. One particular case, there was someone who was denied his promotion to captain based on race for 25 years. It gave me such great pride when, after fighting this particular entity, I can't say which entity it is because there's a confidentiality agreement, but it gave me great pride to be able to go to the promotion exercise for this person who waited 25 years and was denied that 25 years because of his race. Another woman was denied promotion to an engineer for 30 years because of her gender. They had not had any woman in this particular, and again, I can't give specifics, but this is the kind of thing that I've done in the past. As a judge, I'm coming in to follow the law, but I'm coming in to follow the law looking not just on the black letter law, but on the totality of the circumstances, because that's what judges do. We listen to the facts, we hear everything that one side and the other side has to say, and then we come to a specific conclusion based upon our experiences in the law and our experiences, life experiences. Judge Sonia Sotomayor, when she was asked about what does she bring to the bench, she said, she was criticized for it, but she said, I come to bring my experiences. She was a woman of color, a Latina woman, that the first Latina to become a Supreme Court justice. And she was criticized for it, but we all have humanity. We're attorneys. As a judge, you have your humanity. And I bring my humanity because I've seen injustices. The reason I became a lawyer, I was 12 years old, and my mother went shopping for furniture I'm an Afro-Latina from Panama. She bought a furniture set, signed the contract, gave the down payment, etc. And then we left, that was on Fulton Street, we left to take the bus on 45 because I grew up in Crown Heights. When we first came to the country, lived in Bed-Stuy, but then my mother and father and my grandmother, they bought a house, so we lived in Crown Heights. So we're taking the 45 bus back. There was a store right at the corner. I think it was a Siemens. It's no longer there, old Siemens store. And we saw the same furniture set for considerably less. So my mother had enough money. She put the down payment there. She went back the same day, because we had just walked to the same furniture store that was higher. And we said, we want a refund change. My mother said, want a refund change. Now, of course, they said, oh no, you cannot have a refund. But my mother can read, and thank God, I was an honor student from the time I came. I came to this country at 7 years old, and I was always an honor student. So I read English very well, notwithstanding coming from a Spanish country. We showed him where it says in the fine print that it's refundable in 3 days. Okay, we came back the same day. He said, but of course, because my mother had an accent, etc., etc. So my mother said, you will hear from my lawyer. Needless to say, we were able to go to get our lawyer, Mr. Archer, right on Franklin Street. Franklin, unfortunately, I believe he's no longer here with us, but he was our lawyer for many, many years, from Panama, as a matter of fact, from Panama. So that's what made me become a lawyer. It was that particular incident that happened at 12 years old that made me decide that I wanted to become a lawyer, to fight for people's rights that can't fight for themselves.
All right. As you were sitting here with Sandra Roper, candidate for civil court during la élection, c'est pour 12 septembre pour nous supporter candidat. Any last word you want to share with the community for September 12th as they go to the polls?
So that's Sandra Elena Roper. Please do take a look at my website. I'll repeat it again because I fumbled it the first time. That's roperforjudge2017.nyc. Take a look, read what I've done in the past, and I hope that you do decide to choose me. And I hope that I will represent you with dignity and distinction as your judge.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you so much.
All right. Caribbean Images. Stay with us for a pause with Sandra Roper for George, September 12th. Caribbean Images.